everybody, welcome back to another episode. And today I wanted to sort of talk about what you could argue is the greatest import console there ever has been. It's open for debate, obviously. I'm not saying this is the greatest import console only, but it's up there. And what I mean by an import console is something that was only really available overseas. It was granted a limited release in this country, in PAL regions, or some PAL regions, but it was quite late in the console's lifetime, and it was quite a limited release. And of course, I'm talking, as the title suggested, I'm talking about the PC Engine, and for my money, it's one of the greatest consoles there's ever been. Absolutely amazing. But I can understand if, obviously there's probably quite a few people who've never had one, being as it's mainly an imported only console. But in addition to that, there are so many different versions with different names and different kind of specifications. It's quite easy to get lost in all the variants that you could possibly end up with. And it was also obviously called something different in Japan, and then in North America, and when it finally got released in the PAL territories. I'm going to try and put some pictures up somewhere, don't know where, somewhere. But yeah, it started off in Japan, 1987 it came out, and it was sort of to compete with the Famicom stroke NES and Master System, really. And it performed exceedingly well in Japan, but it was quite delayed coming over to other territories, and by the time it got to America, it was kind of the Genesis and Super Nintendo time, at which point I suppose it was a bit outdated, being an 8-bit console. I know there's sort of 16-bit aspect to it, but it's an 8-bit CPU in the console. But I think that's probably why they changed the name from PC Engine to TurboGrafx 16 in America, to try and combat the fact it was an 8-bit console. By calling it a TurboGrafx 16, it kind of made it sound like a 16-bit console, like the SNES and Mega Drive or Genesis. So it started off in Japan with the original white PC Engine, which is the one, I don't know if you can see it, that one there I've got, which is playing Parodius on the TV. This isn't an original. It is an original white PC Engine, but it's been modified. It's RGB now, so it's much better than the standard ones. Because the standard white original PC Engines don't run RGB, and they're problematic to get them working easily. Because, like I say, they haven't got the RGB output generally. So after the white one, then came the Core Graphics, which is a grey one and with blue writing on. And then there was the Core Graphics 2, which was grey with an orange writing on the front or on the top. And they're predominantly the same, but you can run those much easier because they've got like the SCART type connections to run SCART on your CRT back in the day. And then after the Core Graphics 2, you can then, there's another variant then called the Shuttle, which is a kind of cool looking, bit like a spaceship. I think it was probably to aim it at younger viewers, younger users maybe. But that one didn't have the ports to connect to a CD-ROM, which the other white and the two Core Graphics ones would be able to connect to a CD-ROM, because they then released a CD-ROM add-on which you could plug in to your original PC Engine or Core Graphics. Are you following me? Quite complicated. There's a few more variants to come as well. So in addition to the Shuttle, then you had the Super Graphics. Now this one was a much bulkier console, because obviously the original PC Engines are super small, you know, they're really so nice. And yeah, the Super Graphics then came out, which was, I think it was designed to compete more with the SNES and Mega Drive, because it had additional capabilities. But unfortunately, ultimately, then they only released 6 or 7 games for the Super Graphics specifically, and those games wouldn't run on your original PC Engine or Core Graphics. So then, as I briefly mentioned earlier, you had the CD-ROM add-on, which you could plug in to your existing PC Engine, which then enables you to play CD-ROM games. But then that was further complicated by the fact some CD-ROM games required an additional HUE card to run more powerful games. There was an arcade card and a Super System card, and if you didn't have the corresponding HUE card, you couldn't run those corresponding games, even if you had the CD-ROM drive. So again, another console comes out, the Turbo Duo, which is that one there. Well, not strictly that one, but the original one was grey, with like kind of bluey purple writing on. Then they've released this one, which was the Duo R, which is white with like purpley writing on. And then there was the Duo RX, which again was white, but that came with a 6-button controller instead of a 2-button controller. And then there was also the handheld, which is the PC Engine GT in Japan, which amazing console. Big regret selling mine. I wished I never had. But that was essentially, it was the PC Engine in your hand, because it played the exact same games. The screen quality was fantastic. Brilliant console. I'd love another one, but that's so much money now. And you played the exact same games that fitted in your home console into your handheld. Amazing. But then a few years later, when it got released in America, and then later still in the in PAL territories, that changed the name from PC Engine to TurboGrafx 16, as I said. And the handheld was also changed to the Turbo Express. So I can understand if at the time a lot of people, even if they were thinking about buying a PC Engine, they may have been put off by the fact there were so many different versions. It would be so easy to get confused as to think, God, what do I need to run this and that, and you know, there's too much to choose from, I'm not going to bother. But if you did, I'm sure you know, it's an absolutely amazing console. And you know, I had one back in the day. I had the American TurboGrafx 16 at the time, which I had a CD-ROM add-on for that, and that was kind of a big bulky monstrosity of a thing really, compared with the Japanese one. It was the console itself, the TurboGrafx 16, is a much uglier console than the PC Engine in my opinion, but the CD-ROM drive was kind of on a big platform, and it was like there was a big bulky section at the back where the CD-ROM drive sat sort of on top and behind the original console, and then that came in like a plastic carry case which you could use to transport it, you know, around your mate's house or wherever. And I remember when I first had it brand new, the box it came in was absolutely enormous. I've never seen such a big console box. I mean, you think the PS5 is big, but this box, I'm not kidding, it must have been 4 feet off the floor. It was massive. Like I don't know, what could you say? Kind of box like it's almost washing machine sized. It was massive, the cardboard box with everything in. But happy days. Absolutely loved it. Now the American consoles won't run Japanese games without a converter, which I had at the time. and you just, it's like a plug-through converter. You just put the Japanese game in the converter, then put the converter in your American console, and vice versa. Unfortunately, like an idiot, I'm sure we've all done it. At some point, I decided this needs to go. I'm not using it, so I sold the lot. And massive mistake, as I'm sure many of us have, made. There's multitude of things I wished I'd still got that I haven't. But yeah, then a few, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago maybe, I thought, right, I've got to get me another PC Engine. And I had a Core Graphics this time, the original one with the blue writing. And bought a few games, not as many as I had before. I had a cracking collection back in the day. But at some point, like an idiot, I sold that one as well. And then, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years ago then, I decided, right, I'm going to get another one. Only this time I'm going to keep the bloody thing. And touch wood, I have, because that's when I bought my Duo. Now the great thing about the Duo is it plays any Hue card, well, from Japan anyway, and it's already got the technology built in, so it'll play any Super Graphics game. Admittedly there's only 6 or 7, like I say, and Ghouls and Ghosts is probably the best one. But then it's also got the technology in to play all the CD-ROM games, both the arcade card games and the Super System card games. So if you're thinking about buying one, really the best one to go for, in my opinion, is the Duo, because that will play more or less anything from Japan. I mean, it would play American stuff, but you need to get hold of a converter, which seem exceedingly expensive and very rare now. I've not seen one to buy myself, so I'm limited to buying Japanese games because I can't play American in a basic Japanese console, which is a shame, but maybe I'll see one day, I don't know. But yeah, you can tell, I'll just show you, you can tell the difference between the various CD-ROM games, because they're colour coded. You've got the basic CD-ROM ones are green, then the Super CD-ROMs are pink, and the arcade CD-ROMs are orange, as you can see. Now the arcade ones tend to be, there's a lot of Neo Geo type games. It's Fatal Fury Special, obviously this one. And so, like I say, you need the additional card, which you can see pictured on the back there, if you've got a standard PC Engine. But with the Duo you don't need that. And then Super CD-ROM one in this case is Bomberman. Yeah, it's Bomberman, but it's not Bomberman as such. It's like a Dr. Mario Tetris panel to pond type game. And then you've got your basic CD-ROM, which plays in any PC Engine with a CD-ROM attachment. And here we've got the all-time classic, Altered Beast. What a game. Rise from your grave. So yeah, those are the 3 types of CD-ROMs. And then you've obviously got Hue cards, which they all come in these, well, the Japanese ones anyway, come in these kind of basic CD type cases. But you don't get any screenshots on the back at all. They're all the same. And obviously it's different to a CD case in the sense that it's got sections for holding the card, and the card comes in as the same kind of thing as you get a Master System card game in, i.e. a little plastic wallet. These don't age that well over time, they kind of go very yellow, and then obviously you buy some which haven't got them anyway. But that, what a game. One of my favourite all-time games, but the PC Engine version. Bearing in mind, as I say, it's technically an 8-bit console. Stunning. It's better than the Mega Drive version. It was probably, until the Saturn version come out, this was the best version in my opinion. Can't go wrong. Amazing. But then you've got, you know, Power Drift. Never came out again until the Saturn. So again, this was, and it's so good as well. Honestly, so good. Can't praise it enough. And you've got, you know, I'm just showing you a random few. Oh, and then if you're really lucky, you get the bit of sponging with them as well, like they, when they were new. And then this is Cherry Makamura, or Super Girls and Ghosts, or Girls and Ghosts. As you can see, that says Super Graphics on the side. And it comes in a nice little cardboard sleeve, this one. There's a picture of the Super Graphics actually. One of my biggest regrets. I had a boxed one of those. Sold it maybe 6-7 years ago. Didn't get didn't get that much for it. 100 odd, 200 quid, something like that. But now look at the prices of them. If you honestly look on eBay for a box Super Graphics. Oh boy. Oh! And then that's a controller. 2 button, but standard auto fire. Brilliant feature. That's from a Core Graphics 2, that controller. And then you can also get a 6-button controller needed for Street Fighter 2, which is again brilliant conversion. Street Fighter 2. You know, it's up there with the Mega Drive version. Fantastic, and we're talking 8-bit console. As you can see here, this is Parodius. You know, it looks great, doesn't it? Oh, just talking of the devil, there it is. Comes in a double case, this one, and you do actually get some screenshots. But brilliant. But yeah, that's the PC Engine, and it did eventually get released in PAL territories, but it was way into the life of the console, way after the Mega Drive had been released. So, and it was a very limited release. I think I did have one very briefly. You bought them from Telegames, I think it was, and they looked more or less the same as the American version. Only the colour, there was red and blue detailing on the PAL one, and it was orange on the American one. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of highlight what an amazing console it was, and still is for me. One of the greatest consoles ever made. Such a massive array of games. I'm constantly looking to try and add a few here and there, but the prices are quite high now. There are games I'd like. I keep looking, plugging away, try and get them at the right price, and add 1 or 2 when I can. But yeah, what did you think, guys? Any experience of it yourself? What are your thoughts on the whole world of the PC Engine and all its multiple variants? Be great to hear what you think, and thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you soon.